Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Generally clean, although not clay barred and fussed over, but basically clean. And now it's time to ride. Greetings, YouTube. This is Mike Haley 7. And as you can see, I'm riding. See that stop sign? Oh my goodness. Foot down and everything. Let's do this again up here too. Hello, doggy. Going to be making a left here. Oh my goodness, I'm stopping again. Alright, so today's topic is going to be about how the Kawasaki ZZH2 is better than the Honda Goldwing Tour DCT. And I know you're thinking, what? You can't do that. Yes, I can. I could totally do that. It's apples and oranges, I know. And I am being facetious, but at the same time, it's kind of funny. So the first thing that I can think of is speed. The Kawasaki ZZH2 can go from 0 to 60 way faster than this thing can, because it's lighter weight, of course, and it's got a better power to weight ratio. I think this has got like 111 torque and 122 horsepower or something like that, and the Kawasaki has 197 horsepower and 101 foot-pounds of torque. This one weighs 834 pounds wet, and that one weighs 531 pounds wet. And you might be thinking, wait a minute, no it doesn't. Yes it does. It's the SE Special Edition, weighs 531 pounds wet. The non-SE weighs less. Another thing that the Kawasaki ZH2 does better than the Honda Goldwing is cornering. It's got more degrees of lean angle. This has got, I believe, 40 degrees, and that has got 48 degrees before you scrape the pegs, or at least the road feelers underneath the pegs. And I know that because I've done it. So, and the bike tells you after your ride, they'll say maximum lean. I've got 48 and 48 on both sides, and that's when it scrapes. But I'll take 40 degrees. That's not bad. It's better than 35 or 30 or 32. Plus, I can do a U-turn better on that bike. It's smaller, so it's got a shorter turnaround space that it needs. And gotta admit, being able to feather that clutch just makes it that much easier. And the bike is so much lighter. So I can U-turn that bike, that Kawasaki, better than I can the Honda Goldwing. Another benefit of the Kawasaki ZH2 ZH2 is the lack of wind protection. And you might not think that that's a benefit over the Goldwing, but it kind of is. I mean, this thing, even when the windshield's down, it still has a pretty decent amount of wind protection. Whereas the Goldwing, I'm sorry, the Kawasaki ZH2 ZH2, you're in the wind all the time, and so you feel like you're going faster than you really are. So that might be a good safety factor, although I have been kind of ignoring the feeling and realizing, you know, telling myself, no, it's not really going faster. And of course, then I crank on it. Another thing that the ZH2 is better for is it doesn't have the creature comforts, so you focus more on the ride. Because that's what you're on it for. You know, you're on it for the performance of it. Whereas this, not so much. I mean, yeah, the performance of this is wonderful, but it doesn't do what that thing does, that's for sure. Another good thing about the ZH2 is the TFT display. It's clearer to see, and you can change it, you know, light, dark, and it tells you more stuff about your ride. You know, your lean angle, max speed, average speed. This can do average speed and gas fuel economy, miles per gallon. But that one can tell you your max lean angle. And I can also use the Rideology app on the Kawasaki and program. I can program it to do, you know, the different things that I want. It's got an adjustable suspension. That's better than this. It's got more adjustability than this does. The get up and go of that bike is such that I could have turned into traffic. I could have joined the flow of traffic sooner on the Kawasaki than I can on this. This bike just doesn't have the ability to do that. It's too heavy for that kind of thing. Oh, this guy's gonna ruin my fun. Oh well. Trying to think of what else. What else makes the Kawasaki ZH2 better than the Honda Goldwing? You got the speed, you got the power. The brakes are pretty decent on both. I mean, the brakes on this thing are amazing. The brakes on that thing are amazing too. I mean, they're just great. So that's not really a difference. So I guess they're both the same for that. Both have great brakes. Look at me not doing 100. I'm barely doing 45. You're welcome. The thing I like about the ZH2 that is kind of a refreshing difference, it's not necessarily better, it's just refreshingly different, is I actually get to shift again. As much as I love not shifting, and I really love not shifting, especially on a long tour or in stop and go traffic. It is nice to shift now and again. And for the sake of performance, you know, that's nice. You can make a standard or manual transmission do things on the bike that, you know, you can't do on an automatic necessarily. It's more on the automatic, you got to use the brakes more. But on the clutched bike, you can, you know, use the friction zone, more of the engine braking thing. And truth be told, the Kawasaki has that quick shifter up and down, so, you know, I barely have to pull in the clutch ever, except when I'm at really low speeds. Or if I want to, you know, modify the engine brake up, you know, without beating on it. So that's a nice thing. I suppose another one that is great about the Kawasaki ZH2 is the fact that it's easier to wash. There's less of it, you know. Although I'm more scared to wash the ZH2 because all the pieces parts are showing. This thing is all fairing, so you don't really feel like you're getting water and stuff you shouldn't. On that bike, you feel like, oh, I don't want to spray it too much. I don't want the water to get in there. The ZH2 has another benefit that the Honda doesn't have, and that's the fun factor. That bike will make you giggle like a schoolboy when you're done doing something ridiculous on it, like 148 miles an hour. That giggle factor is real. I've seen others do it on their Kawasaki's, and I've done it on mine. It's involuntary. Now, I've giggled on this occasionally, but this is more like, you're just smooth, baby. You're just smooth. You're just relaxing. This is wonderful and fun, and you can go thousands and thousands of miles on this thing, but the fun factor is not quite the same. It's not the adrenaline rush factor. You don't get an adrenaline rush on the Goldwing. You do on a Kawasaki ZH2. Now see, this one I might have gone on the Kawasaki, but not on this. I probably could have made it though. Another Kawasaki thing. The turn signals are not self-canceling, which makes you more aware of your turn signals. It forces you to think about them all the time. At least that's the way I see it now. I'm constantly looking down, making sure. And I've got plenty of video where you can see me with that turn signal going and going and going and going. So I'm much more aware of it now. I mean, I've always used my turn signal on my bikes, but I haven't really ever had to worry about them, you know, turning off, because it's got the canceling. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's really apples and oranges. And I'm glad I have both, because now I get to have the best of both worlds. Next up will probably be either a bobber or an ADV, but that's not going to be for a while, if ever. Okay, on to another topic for you. And that is the heaviness of a bike and age. I think Ginger Dash Moto inspired me on this one, as well as GB Winging It. As you get older, the weight of the motorcycle you ride seems to become more of a factor, perhaps even a hindrance. You hear people saying, I just can't hold up this big bike anymore, so I have to downsize, or I have to get a trike. Or maybe the balance goes, because, you know, your balance isn't as good when you're older, your inner ear or whatever. So you'll hear people saying, I got to get a trike because, you know, it's just the balancing is too hard for me now. So Gil was saying that maybe, I mean, he changes out bikes every couple of years, and he's not apologetic about it. It's just how he is, and I'm the same way, although I've kind of been given some ribbing for it, but I think that's just how I am. I don't know how long I'll keep the Goldwing or the Kawasaki. I love them both now, and I have no need to get rid of either one of them. I want to get rid of my Tiguan. But I can see, you know, when I'm 60, if I'm riding a big bike like this, maybe I'll start thinking about getting something smaller. And the other thing, too, is, you know, the long day after day after day riding can be, I mean, it's fun, but if my goal is to ride on the twisties out in Denver, Colorado, out that way, you know, Silver Springs, I think that's what they call it. You know, the $1 million highway or something. If I want to do that, do I really want to ride all the way there on the super slab when I could just trailer it? I know that's anathema to a lot of people. Oh, I would never trailer my bike. You're not a real biker if you don't ride it all the way there every time. I don't know. When I'm 60, 65, 70, I don't know if I'm going to want to do that, especially given the health issues that I keep having. So, yeah, I might actually just get me a trailer, a toy hauler, live in the front, and have the bike in the back with the car attached. One of them little smart car type things, or Fiat. Fiat's a piece of junk, though. So something small, but, you know, like a Toyota Tercel or something. I might do that. I might. I'm not sure. Hey, there's my work. I'm not going there. Not today. What is he doing? What I'm really hoping for is the self-balancing motorcycle. I'm sure you've all seen this by now, and if you haven't, go look it up. It's Honda showed this motorcycle that can balance itself. It can, you don't even have to have anybody on the bike, and it just stands upright, no kickstand. And then you can make it follow you. This lady had it follow her and bow and stuff. And then this guy got on it, and he had his arms outstretched like Jesus, and he's not doing anything, and the bike's moving forward and balancing on its own. And I know a lot of you would think at that point, well, that's not even, you know, you're a passenger on your own bike. You're not even part of the experience except passively. And I don't want to that extent. I don't want to have the bike steer itself. I want to be the one steering the bike and leaning the bike and all that. But when you get at the slower speed and you want to do a U-turn, or you want to, get into a parking space safely, and you're 65 or 70, and it's a big old heavy bike and you don't want to drop it, I think that kind of technology would be sweet. It'd be really nice to have. Seems that way to me anyway. Better than a trike. No offense to the trike people. I know a lot of people have trikes and they love them. But I'm just not a trike guy. Because the thing I like about riding my motorcycle is not just the wind and the long distance and the feeling of freedom. It's also the lean. I love the lean. Now, if they make a trike that can lean like a motorcycle, and I've seen a few, setups. I'm not sure how reliable they are, but maybe. But if this technology for self-balancing is already available now, just imagine how it's going to be in 20 years. That's if the zombie apocalypse doesn't take us all. Or maybe I'll just get something smaller and ride that locally, and then if I want to do a long trip, I'll put it on the toy hauler or whatever and drive out to the place that I want to do my major riding. Ride. And then I have a place to stay because I'll have the toy hauler. I won't have to pay for a hotel, just the lot fee or whatever, or just go to Walmart and sleep with my gun. What do you mean gun? Sleep with my guns. Seemed like this guy was coming over a little bit, so I got to look over at him like, what are you doing, pal? So just some, random meandering thoughts on that balancing issue. What do you think? Do you think that if you're 70, well, some of you guys are 70 now, but let's pretend, even the ones who are 70, let's pretend that the technology existed today for you to have a Honda Goldwing or a, ultra classic, whatever, a big touring bike, a grand touring bike, heavy, that was self-balancing when you wanted it to be, in the slow speed stuff. And when you stop and you get off and you want to put the kickstand down, and the bike won't fall over if you make a mistake because it's self-balancing. Would you prefer that over a trike, or would you prefer a trike over that? Well, some of you guys are 70 superheroes, Like, I'm still as strong now as I was when I was 21. Well, good for you, superhero. You go bench press that bike, have a good time. But for, regular, frail human folks that are not from Mount Olympus with injuries and health issues and stuff, like my sister's husband, who's slowly circling the drain, unfortunately. He's got dialysis going now, and he's 70. So, I don't know if I'll be even here when I'm 70. A lot of people die in their 60s or 50s. I could go teats up right now. But what do you think? When you're 70 and that option is available, will you do it? If that option were available now, would you do it? Would you consider it, or would you rather trike it? And if you're 70, would you ride your bike all the way out to the place every year and then do your twisty riding and then ride the bike all the way back? Or would you think about trailering it out there? Let me know. All right, it's Mike Cayley 7. I'll talk to you later.